So, some truly committed, and I dare say, delusional individuals were absolutely convinced that old Jeebus was coming back to scoop up his chosen ones. And let me tell you, I was on the edge of my seat. Well, not really. I was mostly just being a smartass, as is my atheist prerogative. In fact, yesterday I made a post on my YouTube channel page asking the truly pressing questions. At what time was the rapture supposed to have taken place? Was it Eastern, Central, Mountain, or Pacific time zone? Or perhaps we were waiting on a specific time in a different country. Because coordination is key when you're snatching billions of people into the clouds. I fully expected the celestial clock to be set to Central Time, naturally, as I live in Iowa. The fact that the world is round and time zones exist seems to be an eternal mystery to these prophets. Spoiler alert! No one vanished. No chariots of fire. No sudden trumpet blasts. Millions of Christians are still showing up to work today, looking suspiciously unraptured. Their cars are still in the parking lot. Their cubicles are still occupied, and their bosses are still expecting those TPS reports. Imagine the sheer awkwardness. Oh, Brenda, you're still here? I thought you were supposed to be floating above the clouds, playing a tiny harp right now. Nasty bee. The bees are bad out here lately. This isn't just about yesterday's non-event, is it? This is a recurring sitcom, a cosmic rerun that never gets old, except for, the end of the world part. The Christian end times prediction industry is positively booming, despite a 100% failure rate. It's like a perpetual motion machine of wrongness. Throughout history, these prophets have been tirelessly trying to guess God's secret calendar. We've had a parade of characters, each more competent than the last, assuring us that this time it's for real. We had Hippolytus back in 500 AD, who was clearly hip to nothing but wrong calendars. Then came the millennium scares around 1000 AD, when everyone thought the big 1000 meant lights out. Guess what? It didn't. Even Martin Luther, the guy who revolutionized Christianity, dipped his toe in the prophetic waters around 1600 AD. Turns out, nailing thesis to church doors was his forte, not nailing down the apocalypse. Fast forward to the 19th century with William Miller in the years 1843 and 1844, whose followers experienced the infamous Great Disappointment. Can you imagine? Selling all your possessions, waiting on a mountaintop, only for the sun to set again? Talk about a buzzkill. And who could forget Harold Camping? That man was a legend. He predicted the end in 2011. Not once, but twice. He was like the universe's most incompetent weatherman, always predicting a storm that never came. He even had the audacity to reschedule it like a bad dentist appointment. Pun intended. Bad dentist, Oopsie. My bad, folks. Again, Uh, Miscalculated by a few months. Now it's definitely happening. And just when you think they might possibly, maybe learn their lesson, along comes Pastor Joshua Malakala from South Africa. This visionary claims Jesus revealed to him in a dream in 2018, no less, that the rapture would hit on September 23rd and 24th, 2025. But wait, there's more. He says the ensuing global chaos would disrupt the 2026 FIFA World Cup because, obviously, nothing says divine intervention like messing with international soccer schedules, right? I'm picturing Jesus in a celestial VAR booth, reviewing the offsides, calling during the apocalypse. Truly, the priorities of the divine are baffling. It's truly astounding. These predictions, rooted in selective biblical interpretations, numerology, or just plain fever dreams, consistently fail. Yet, the practice endures across every flavor of Christian denomination. It's like watching a perpetual motion machine powered by self-delusion. While it's easy for us to point and laugh, and believe me, I do, it's crucial to remember that this isn't always just harmless fun. The consequences for believers who buy into these apocalyptic narratives can be genuinely tragic and frankly terrifying. We're talking about real people who face financial ruin. They sell their homes, drain their retirement savings, quit their jobs, convinced they won't need money in heaven or on the new earth. Then, oops, September 24th rolls around, and they're homeless, jobless, and utterly bewildered. I have yet to find out what the Christians think of the rapture still not happening. I have yet to find out. September 24th, we should be hearing soon enough from these disappointed Christians who do believe this nonsense. I have yet to figure it out, but this is a typical behavior, and we'll see if this has happened. We'll see if these people have done this. So, like I said, September 24th rolls around, and they're homeless, jobless, and utterly bewildered. And I'm waiting to find out the results to that. And now they also neglect their families and responsibilities. Why bother saving for college or planning for retirement when the world is about to end? This mindset can shatter relationships and futures. They fall prey to cults and extremism. From Jonestown to Heaven's Gate, history is littered with examples of groups whose leaders convinced them the end was nigh, often with devastating, deadly results. These communities often encourage isolation, control, and ultimately self-destruction, all in the name of a coming apocalypse. They embrace doomsday prepping. While a certain level of preparedness for emergencies is sensible, some take it to the extreme. They build elaborate bunkers, stockpile enough canned goods to feed an army, and live in constant fear of a post-apocalyptic wasteland. This isn't just about being ready for a hurricane. It's about a deep-seated paranoia driven by religious fear that isolates them from society. They also miss out on life. Imagine living every day believing the world is about to end. How do you plan for the future? How do you invest in relationships? How do you experience joy when you're constantly bracing for Armageddon? It's a life lived under a dark, self-imposed cloud, robbing them of precious time and experiences. The repeated failures, from the great disappointment of the 1800s to Harold Camping's 2011 debacle, right through to the Y2K scare. Remember when computers were going to usher in the end times? This should be a glaring red flag. But for many, it just reinforces the belief that true believers are being persecuted or that God is testing their faith. It's a closed loop of confirmation bias where every failed prediction becomes an opportunity to double down. And here's where the humor truly morphs into a head-scratching exasperation. Because ironclad belief in these predictions often means these end times Christians don't seem to know their own Bible very well, which is, frankly, hilarious in a deeply tragic way. I mean, even Jesus, who, let's be clear, I maintain is a fictional character, but for the sake of argument, let's pretend his words matter to them, supposedly had something to say about this. And many of you are aware of these verses, so I will list them again for those Christians who don't know them. In the New International Version of the Bible, this is what Matthew chapter 24, verses 36 through 44 states, and I quote, "But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be in the field. One will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding with a hand mill. One will be taken and the other left. Therefore, keep watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known at what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would not have let his house be broken into. So you also must be ready, because the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him." End quote. Did you catch that, everyone? Did you catch that? No one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. It's almost as if the big guy himself, if he were real, told them to knock it off with the date setting. It's like a cosmic I told you so, delivered straight from their own sacred texts. The level of self-contradiction required to simultaneously believe in Matthew chapter 24, verses 36 through 44, and the latest rapture date is truly a feat of mental gymnastics worthy of an Olympic medal, or perhaps a psychiatric evaluation. So this is where Christian faith, at least the uncritical fundamentalist variety, really goes off the rails. Faith, at its core, is a belief, a hope in something unseen, unproven. And while hope can be a powerful motivator for good, It is not a substitute for fact. It's not a license to believe in things that are demonstrably false or to ignore repeated failures. Hoping for something, wishing for something, believing with all your heart in something. None of that makes it true. You can have faith that you'll win the lottery, but if you don't buy a ticket, or if the numbers aren't drawn, it's not going to happen. You can have faith that your imaginary friend is real, but that doesn't mean they're going to help you move furniture. When faith completely detaches from reality and critical thinking, it becomes a dangerous weapon capable of leading people to make terrible decisions, hurt themselves, and harm others. It becomes a shield against inconvenient truths and a justification for believing anything, no matter how absurd. Now, before our usual chorus of pearl-clutching proselytizers descends into the YouTube comment section to tell me I'm going to hell, that I'm just blind to God's truth, or to demand I repent, because clearly my lack of belief is why the rapture didn't happen, let me just say, save your breath. I know you're coming. The hypocritical Christians who love to invade the space. You'll gaslight, you'll project your insecurities, you'll criticize, and yes, you'll spread your hate disguised as concern. You're telling me I'm wrong, even though your own prophetic predictions have a perfect track record of being catastrophically wrong. You'll ignore the irony of quoting a book that explicitly tells you not to do what you're doing. For those of you, the atheists, the ex-Christians, the deconstructors, the skeptics, and even those brave Christians who are just starting to ask the big, uncomfortable questions about their belief system, this is for you. What are your thoughts on this recurring saga of failed end times predictions? How do you deal with the bizarre logic, or lack thereof, from those who cling to these dates year after year, despite all evidence to the contrary? Have you ever known anyone personally who was genuinely convinced by these prophecies? And what were the consequences for them? Share your stories and your insights in the comments below. Let's keep the real conversation going, free from the theological gymnastics and the eternal rescheduling of Armageddon. And as for me, I'll be here, patiently waiting for the next end of the world date. I've got my snark calibrated and ready. So that's the end of today's podcast. Please like, subscribe, and share so you don't miss out on my next video. I hope you enjoyed. Look forward to the next time we talk. And bye.